Welcome to the Spotlight Roundup, presented to you by Psychedelic Spotlight, your trusted source for news, information, and unique perspectives surrounding the emerging sector of medicinal psychedelics. I'm Autumn Tribbitt, and it's the week of July 5th, 2021. Ahead in this week's Roundup, Mydecine makes a huge mushroom discovery. Field Trip Health prepares for the Nasdaq, psychedelic research is on its way to the Lone Star State, and we introduce you to the first female-founded psychedelic biotech company. Plus, we get an exclusive public market update from the man known on YouTube as the Psychedelic Investor. Now, let's get to your Roundup. Last month, Mydecine Innovations Group, an emerging biopharma and life sciences company, announced their groundbreaking discovery of over 40 compounds with pharmacological potential in mushrooms. Over the past months, Mydecine's research and development teams have screened over 25 mushroom species and have analyzed over 40 unique compounds found throughout the various species. And of these compounds, a large majority of them appear to have never been reported before and could be vital to the critical effects of naturally sourced mushrooms on human health and well-being.
For us at Mydecine, we've been able to build a very robust infrastructure that allows us to really dissect those different compounds and utilize machines that, in layman's terms, essentially act as a Coinstar for compounds, if you will. So it'll take raw biomass of different varietals of mushrooms and it'll break down the compounds within on an individual basis. And then we've been able to screen those through very advanced AI technologies up at the University of Alberta to really divulge the psychoactivity of those and also understand what do they do and what receptor bases do they bind to. So again, these are unclassified, unknown compounds that really could potentially have, binding effects or solve problems for a variety of different indications far outside of just mental health indications.
Now, in industry public market news, the trend of psychedelic-focused companies migrating to the Nasdaq continues to show no signs of slowing down as Field Trip Health, a leader in the development and delivery of psychedelic therapies, recently announced that the company has applied to list their common shares on the Nasdaq. In advance of their anticipated listing on the Nasdaq, Field Trip has also announced that they plan to file a registration statement with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission and that they do not anticipate any changes to the company's share structure.
So with Field Trip, we've always been planning to build Field Trip into a world-class organization, and the Nasdaq is where world-class biotech and pharmaceutical companies go to list their shares for public trading. And so it's always been our ambition to get there since listing on the Canadian Securities Exchange back in October of last year. The process to get there has actually been incredibly smooth and expeditious. Kudos to our legal team and our general counsel, Paula, for making it such an excellent transition from the CSE to the TSX, as well as preparing us to list on the NASDAQ. And the whole point of listing on the NASDAQ is what we're trying to do with Field Trip is more than just build a business. We're really trying to create a movement, create awareness for the potential of psychedelics for mental health applications and beyond. And to do so, you need a platform and you need to reach a global audience, both of investors and anyone's paying attention, to make sure and to establish that you're a credible, serious player. And so that's our path to the NASDAQ. We anticipate that we will be on the NASDAQ sometime later this summer, and we think it'll be a great step forward for our work and our vision at Field Trip.
And now, to provide us with more public market updates and insight, here's James Halifax, host of the Psychedelic Investor podcast show on YouTube.
Hey there, I'm James from the Psychedelic Investor. Today, we're going to be talking about Red Light Holland, or should I say, the company soon to be formally known as Red Light Holland. And I say this because Red Light has announced plans to merge with a cannabis company called Crezo Pharma, effective at the beginning of Q4. The new company will be called Hybrid Lab and will have an expected market cap of $347 million Canadian, with a cash balance of around 45 mil. The new company will focus on increasing vertical integration to become the leading distributor of legal recreational psilocybin and cannabis in markets which permit them, and continue base scientific research into new compounds and medical applications. If you already like the company, then this is great news. And if you're still on the fence, this is probably a nudge in the right direction, but not enough to push you into buying. Next up, we're going to take a look at Atai Life Sciences. Since its IPO on June 18th, Atai has become a competitor for the title of the most advanced psychedelic medicines company. with 10 plus clinical trials, a $2.75 billion market cap, and over $400 million in the bank. It's easy to see why. Though its price has fallen since IPO day, it's still battling for the title of my favorite psychedelic medicines company. Enjoy the rest of the video.
To continue to get more unique perspective related to the growing public market sector within the medicinal psychedelic industry, make sure you subscribe to the Psychedelic Investor on YouTube. In reform news, psychedelic research aimed at treating veterans suffering from PTSD will soon be coming to the state of Texas by way of a bill that Texas Governor Greg Abbott recently allowed to move forward, which creates a pathway for the state to study the therapeutic potential of psychedelics. Under the measure, the state will be required to study the medical risks and benefits of psilocybin, MDMA, and ketamine for military veterans in partnership with Baylor College of Medicine and a military-focused medical center. It also mandates a clinical trial onto psilocybin for veterans with PTSD, in addition to a broader review of the scientific literature on all three substances. Finally, last month saw the official launch of the first ever female-founded biotech company within the medicinal psychedelic industry. Aphrodite Health is the first female-focused psychedelic drug development company whose focus is on developing targeted psychedelic medicines that address billions of women's mental and physical health challenges that are oftentimes overlooked by modern medicine. Here's a sample of what Aphrodite Health founder and CEO Tesla Latouche had to say about the company and its mission during a recent visit to the Psychedelic Spotlight podcast.
We are for women by women. We are the first female-founded company in the psychedelic space, and we're the only company with an Afro-Indigenous woman as a CEO with only female founders. We're really focused on therapeutics that are aligned with the mental health of women. We have a powerful corporate purpose and an environmental social governance, so ESG vision that will allow us to deliver on the justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion initiatives in the industry that are so necessary, and that's fully baked into our vision for drug discovery, clinical research design, value-based outcomes, and access that will define the well-being paradigm shift for women's health.
To listen to the full interview with Tesla, please visit the podcast page on the Psychedelic Spotlight website. And also make sure to check out Aphrodite Health's website at aphrodite.health. And that's it for this week's Spotlight Roundup, presented to you by Psychedelic Spotlight, your trusted source for news, information, and unique perspectives surrounding the emerging sector of medicinal psychedelics. For more on the stories covered here, visit psychedelicspotlight.com. And be sure to check out the Psychedelic Spotlight podcast, where Global Track Solutions CEO David Flores interviews luminaries across the field of psychedelics and related industries. Subscribe at Apple Podcasts or wherever you stream. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Autumn Tribbitt. Be well.